It all started with this man.
Award-winning Zimbabwean journalist Hopewell Chinono.
Hopewell Chinono exposed an alleged procurement scandal in the health ministry in that country recently. Now he's in detention.
He has been arrested and denied bail multiple times because he exposed to the Zimbabwean government.
I was arrested just after I exposed the COVID-19 looting scandal, where high-ranking government officials, including people who are close to the president, were setting up shelf companies and then getting tenders.
And they called him a sellout, a traitor, because he exposed the reality.
Right now in Zimbabwe, the whole public health sector does not have a single radiotherapy cancer machine. If you get cancer in Zimbabwe today, it's a death sentence, you will die.
The people of Zimbabwe must appreciate that there are no public hospitals at this time. The hospitals are not there. We have these buildings, but they're just buildings and not hospitals. There are conditions which can be easily treated, which people are actually dying from, because the government is not willing to buy the necessary things, or has neglected to buy the things which are needed.
Yes, many African countries are being run by criminal political organizations. They are very corrupt. They are stealing money meant for public infrastructures, and we all know this. We're just trying to, hustle and find our own way. To understand this whole picture, we need to go back in time.
Time-traveling machine!
The origin of human civilization. People lived in small family units. As they were slowly populating the earth, they were facing many challenges. Lack of shelter, harsh weather conditions, wild and dangerous animals. Life was extremely painful for these people, and they had to leverage their resources in order to just survive. Men and women cooperated with each other. They worked together, men focusing more on the physical labor such as hunting, protecting, providing for the family, whilst women stayed home, nurtured and raised kids. Both of these roles were absolutely critical for the survival of our species as humans. Any civilization would collapse without child rearing, as it would collapse without warriors. So this system created dependency. We needed each other's skills for survival. Because life was difficult, they had to double down on their traditional duties, with men providing and women staying home and raising the kids. Women had to give birth as early as they could and have as many children as they could. They had to do it because child mortality was extremely high, and they had to have many children to compensate that. This is one of the reasons why we have many child marriages in Africa. It is simply because there is high demand for labor. Having many children meant that more people could work together to provide for the group, ensuring its survival. That is why it's very important to have a competent government, a government that can industrialize and incorporate technology into our industries, creating more jobs and mitigating the need to use children as a source of labor. These gender roles improved our livelihood. The clan grew into big tribes, and they would clash with other tribes as we began to fight for resources. Every tribe wanted to get the best resources.
The border tribe will not challenge today.
You might then wonder why all this violence. Why not just cooperate with each other? It's in human nature to be violent, especially when resources become scarce. And since tribes were led by warriors, some ended up forming partnerships with other tribes through trade and arranged marriages. And this system sort of worked. The tribe grew into a kingdom, but it came at a cost. You see, each tribe had its own social structure and traditions. Coming together with other tribes, that would create a clash of values. Tensions would arise, resulting in civil wars and sometimes destabilizing the state. So a king had to deliberate and find laws that would maintain peace and order to stabilize that kingdom. And the king would make these laws through his advisors, but ultimately the king had the final say. And this was the first form of government we had, and we call such a system autocracy. This system worked. The kingdom grew and they expanded. They would raid smaller kingdoms, taking slaves, property, women, and it worked. And the people began to specialize more. Some people became blacksmiths, farmers, potterers, and they would periodically pay tax to the king, thanking the king for creating an environment that is both peaceful, safe, and making them prosperous. And the king would use these resources to further expand his army. So this is the part it gets interesting. The Europeans came. They invaded many parts of the world. They enslaved abused, tortured. They did everything. Because the Europeans were quite advanced and smarter than us, they manipulated and created enmity between tribes, a tactic which they used to colonize the whole continent. Because they believed the more divided the people are, the more easier it would be for them to maintain their power. But after some time, the people came together, they united, and they fought for their independence. Now we became free. We are left with a country with systems and infrastructure we don't even know how to maintain. We were not educated, and we were still divided by language, traditions, religions, amongst other things. And we had to come together to see how we could work together to push the nation forward. So we had to understand what a constitution is, what is governing, freedoms, responsibility, all of those things. But we are uneducated. So what happened? People went back to their natural instinct, tribal group, because it was hard to trust other people. So each tribe looked after its own interest, resulting in war.
The beatings, the killing, the torture is unbelievable. Unbelievable. And these people will play it off. People are being taken daily at night and they disappear forever. And those who are taken to police camp, in the stops camp in Bulawayo, the torture that goes in there is to be seen to be believed, and by the black people to another black man.
And this is the state we are still in. Many African countries have leaders that are just trying to consolidate power. They are very incompetent.
Listen properly.
They look after themselves and their families and their friends. They don't even care about what is good for the people or the nation. And this isn't how things are supposed to be. Many industries are closed. People are starving. There is lawlessness. We depend on donations just so we can survive. We can do better than this, and we should do better. We have all the resources that can enable us to build our nations and provide good lives for our citizens. A government is there to serve people. It's there to maintain peace and order, to facilitate trade and push policies that help grow the economy in a healthy and sustainable way. It's there to create environments that allow us to pursue our dreams.